Ooh.
Yeah. Podcast time. It's a podcast time.
DJ. Do you remember those
I
keyboards
did,
back
yeah.
in the day?
DJ. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Those little Casio keyboards back in school.
I'm trying to think of any others.
Oh, yeah. What was
DJ.
Then you get the percussion thing.
yeah.
Get the bongos and stuff going. Yeah. How are you, my friend?
I'm all good, man. I'm all good. How are you?
I'm all right. I was very busy last week with a show that had to go up, and now the show's finished, and it's all good. A creative weight, I was just saying to you, has been lifted, and now more for some podcasting delight. We've got a week ahead of us, my friend, haven't we?
We've got a week ahead of us. We have got fun in the sun, mate. We are finishing What If.
We are.
And then we're taking, then we're in essence caught up, because then we're in 2024 territory. So we've caught up and we're taking a break. But in that break, he says in inverted commas, because this weekend, on Friday, I'm joining you in a little land called London.
You are indeed.
Going to that Comic-Con.
We're going to that Comic-Con. That's right.
Yes.
We're at MCM Comic-Con this weekend. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'll be there checking it all out. Doing it differently this time around. So in October we had our own little stand going on. But now we're in there. We're in amongst the peeps. We're going around, watching the things, looking at the panels, doing all the stuff like that. So that's going to be great. It's going to be a fun. I've started doing a little itinerary for you and me. I haven't told you.
Shut up.
Oh, bloody will have.
Well, you booked a little show for us
I
to
have.
go see.
We're going to go see a little show, aren't we?
Ooh, what show are we seeing, Matthew?
We're going to go see The Hills of California, my friend.
Ooh, a little Butterworth production, I believe.
A little Jizz Butterworth new play there. Yeah, it's going to be great. Yeah, it's going to be pants, man. We're going to
tantalising.
It's going to be. Do you know what? I dread to think what kind of stories will come out of this next weekend that we'll have. But so we had an amazing array of stories from October's MCM Comic Con that. But I think this weekend is going to be mighty delicious. But yeah, dear listener, seriously, if you're not following us on Instagram, please do follow us on Instagram, because all of the updates in real time when we're at MCM will happen at that point. And again, if you're there, please let us know. Send us a message on Instagram. It would be great to sort of meet people as well and to talk to people. We'll be doing some interview bits in and around lots of people throughout the weekend, talking all things Marvel and DC. And we'll just make some content and have a great time.
I can't. Do you know what I fancy doing this weekend, Matt?
Yeah, go on.
As a little first, it's a TikTok.
Oh,
We've never made a little TikTok. We've just uploaded real footage, but we never created a TikTok. I'm not on about a dance like 14-year-old girls do, but right. I was thinking
that's what I was thinking we were gonna do. I was getting really excited about it.
Maybe if we
show
can
off
find
my dancing skills.
A good dance. I think there'd be Beyonce's country song is a popular tune on there.
God, I mean, we can't keep talking about this. This is horrendous.
What?
I hate TikTok. I'm so out of touch with that.
Whoa! Some of our hello. I went out of focus. Oh god, my focus.
Your camera does not like us talking about TikTok.
Oh, if the camera's allergic to TikTok, it's still not homed me in, mate.
No, it hasn't. It's literally gone. No, you're not talking about TikTok.
It's not.
Just get on talking about What If Part 2. Thank you.
Do you know what I feel like? I feel like I'm about to tell the story of a crime that I was once involved in. Well, when I was younger, I did get approached by a man with a knife, but I do not want to be identified. My name's Forrest. Wait a minute.
It's still.
Why it is really? Hang on. How do you? Oh no. How do you fix that?
What's going on there?
Oh,
you can readjust it, I'm sure.
This is so interesting for the people at home, but
I know. Oh,
Oh, oh, oh my crust. How does one
turn it off and on again, I suppose.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, it's quite funny how there he is.
There we go.
Yeah, let's make some TikToks. I think we should utilize the old YouTube as well. Reach as far and wide as we possibly can. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It feels a very different vibe to October. I don't know. There's the other thing. It's the first. Actually, I think it is the first May Comic-Con that I've ever gone to. So I don't know if it is a specific different vibe or clientele that we'll get there, but I'm really looking forward to it. It's always such a great time.
It's supposed to be a bit quieter, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
In May, I don't think it's quite as well attended, but they Comic-Con seem to be shouting about. They confuse me with statistics. Over 10% sold, and then the next week it'll be like 9.5% left on a Tuesday and peak tickets. I'm like, what? What? And we'll change the game. What's going
on there?
What's going on? But yeah, very much looking forward to that. Very excited. But before we get there, Matt, we have got to talk some serious business. And we've got to talk about episodes 5 to 9. So, episodes 5 to 9 of the second series of What If. Roll those titles.
Yes. Okay, so it is part 2 of the old What If series. I think going straight in, mate. This definitely. I mean, we're not messing about today.
Tuck in,
dear listener. We're going straight in. Strap yourselves in. All right, straight in. I flipping loved the second half of this series. I thought it was great, bar one episode.
Ooh, we have the same episode.
I'm not going to tell you which one, but when we get to it, we'll talk about it. But yeah, no, I thought actually, just generally speaking, like the series hit so much better than the first one. I think the second half of the series was certainly better than the first half. I think just because of the cheeky little thread that they kind of planted in the second half. Whether that was a good thing or a bad thing, I think that's up to debate. But I actually enjoyed it because you got something to follow through with, and it gave you a new perspective. We got a lot of, I think, certain characters that were highlighted. Maybe one particular character that was highlighted that kind of, I was like, I don't know why they're here or why they're part of this. And it could have been somebody else or, yeah. But yeah, generally speaking, mate, I was really, really happy with it. What are your overall thoughts on the second half of this series?
Completely agree, down to the point where I also have one that I was not a fan of.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a very strong second half of the series. I also have a question that I raised to myself in episode 5 that we're about to begin, which was potentially answered in the very last few moments of the last episode.
Ooh, this is all very much kind of like throwing the little bait in that little Marvel pond of ours.
Unlike every other episode we've ever produced, we're actually teasing why people should stay and listen to the podcast.
Listen to us, I know.
And not run off because it's going to be a shit one.
Well, do you know it's funny? We talk about it saying that we enjoyed season 2 more than season 1. Now, just looking at Rotten Tomatoes right now, season 1 of What If is a 94% on the tomato meter. But season 2 is only 89, so it's a little bit lower, not considerably, but
how many ratings has it got? Is that in?
I've just closed the tabs now, mate.
Oh, well, No, in that case,
Jesus.
could we wait 5 seconds for you to reopen them? No. So let's start episode 5. Captain Carter for Hydra Stomper. Boom, boom, boom. Sequel episode for Peggy Carter, this one. And reopening of the Guardians of the Multiverse, which ended the first series. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, so I think, again, the premise of the What If is just to show standalone What If episodes with our beloved characters that we know and love from the live action versions. But this is when we start kind of threading something that's been plotted through in the narrative of What If. So yeah, we're very much following Captain Carter's journey, who started the Guardians of the Multiverse. It sounds like a really good name for a podcast, but anyway. And
someone should really
find that out. That was us, by the way. If you listened last week, you would have known that. That was what did we talk about in the Friday episode? Or was it Wednesday's episode? It was Fridays, wasn't it? No, Wednesdays. It was last Wednesday's episode.
It was Wednesdays. Yeah,
it was Wednesday. And I think we've got a great opportunity with seeing a little bit more of Captain Carter's, her journey as the character coming into it. And obviously, I really enjoyed. And I don't know, maybe this was kind of just like a subtle enjoyment, but I really enjoyed Black Widow being part of it. This kind of like kinship with Captain Carter and Black Widow. You wouldn't think that there would be actually two characters that would work really well together. But I think that actually they kind of were great pairings, actually.
I don't know if you wouldn't think they were oh my god, where was that sentence going? I don't think you would send I actually do think they put that's quite a natural pairing, I think.
Do you think so?
They're both very they're strong-minded women, and I think, and they're both kind of they're not overly reliant on actual conventional superpower, right? So Black Widow's very much the arts, like martial arts and all that business, and Peggy Carter's it's the shield, but ultimately it's all about super strength. Your body is doing all of the work. For me they align quite nicely.
It kind of, in this version, it's very much the fact that, Steve Rogers was replaced by, Peggy. And obviously in our versions, in our MCU version, we've got the relationship between Black Widow and Steve Rogers is very much there. And obviously there's loads of theories around the fact that they were clearly in a relationship on and off, sort of pre and post during blip as well. So all of those things are kind of like there, I think, for our characters. But maybe it was I just didn't think about it in that kind of regard. I probably would have placed, Captain Carter with somebody that might be more outer worldly, less kind of like home based.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Interesting. All right. Yeah. Okay. The Bucky Barnes is a politician.
Yes, it took me a while. So it's an aged Bucky Barnes. Yeah, I had no idea until about a minute in. I was like, wait, hang on, that sounds like Sebastian Stan. Is that a Bucky? And then she went Bucky, and I was like, oh my god, yes, Senator. Yeah, that's cool, isn't it?
Senator Barnes, and we've had General Ross. No more General. General Ross wasn't a senator, in all honesty. But
do you think we'll see Bucky show a little bit of a politicized leadership role in Thunderbolts? Because there's been a shot with him not looking traditionally Bucky Barnes, but more kind of like well-to-do Bucky Barnes in the Thunderbolts, which might suggest they might be actually threading that.
Could be. It's quite a bit. It's quite a U-turn from where we've seen him.
It is, but he's redeemed himself though. In Falcon and Winter Soldier, I'd say he's kind of redeemed himself. He checked off his list. He's free of the change of the Soviet Union, all that kind of stuff. I feel like he's probably going to have a more passive, and I'm going to say that, he's probably going to have a more passive role to play in Thunderbolts.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. Yeah, I can take that on board. I'm fascinated for Thunderbolts anyway. I think we're going to get quite a new lots of new layers to the MCU that we haven't had. I'm fascinated for that. But yes. So we've got Bucky Barnes. We get Nick Fury in this. We get some really love scenes. Stumper flying up the... Oh, I didn't mean love scenes. I mean, some really lovely scenes is what I meant to put. Some really love scenes.
Love scenes.
There was, in this episode, is one of my favourite, little, sequences. And basically it is, we see Stomper, going up a tall rise building, and you just see him looking into the window. So it's in the mirror, right? The glass. He's looking into the glass, and then he's flying up, and he just sees himself. And then as he emerges over the top, you just see this helicopter coming over, start shooting at him. It's just a really slick sequence. But it looks really nice.
Was it you that said that you feel like the animation felt sharper and a little bit cleaner in episode 4? Was it 4 or 3?
It was the Christmas episode, rather weirdly, but yeah, I did, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if, again, this might just be you saying it and me being influenced by what you said there, but it felt like it was certainly, particularly in this episode, there were some really great shots, and I'm really interested to know how they did this, because it's animation. Is there part of it actually being cinematography against animation and kind of merging the worlds together? Because there were moments where I was like, they've kind of gone photorealistic and then they've animated over it.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, it is. We're looking at what guests we can get on the podcast. I would love to have a visual creative who worked on What If.
That's a really good shout, man.
So if you're listening to us, if you're Bob from Belgium and you happen to have worked on What If Series 2, get on the blower.
Yes, please.
Give us a call. But yeah, we will have to look into that because actually, cool. Like you say, I'd love to ask them, and also to get the kind of when some of these episodes were created, because as we said at the beginning of the series, there's a couple of episodes that look like they're in inverted commas again, outdated, because it's not really dated, but they don't look like they've been filmed in the same way that these episodes have. Slightly slicker animation for sure. But yeah, no, really, visually amazing. I wouldn't say that this was the strongest of the episodes.
I agree. I think the story was just a bit, okay, cool. So Steve Rogers has just been locked away, and he's basically been Bucky Barnes, let's say. So instead of Bucky becoming the Winter Soldier, effectively Steve Rogers did, but he's in the Mark 1 of the Iron Suit, and and that's been Soviet Union made, basically, controlled, and okay, fine. Do you know what I mean? Very formulaic, it's just kind of a different perspective on what we've already know from another character. So it wasn't too inventive.
No, I thought it starts off really well, but then it's it's almost too long. Even as half an hour, it's too long for an episode in which very little happens. It's just the same plot. And my comment was, what I think they could have done was that the Stomper kills an Avenger. I think one of the issues that this didn't have, and we've said it time and time again in the last year and a half, actually, with the MCU, is a distinct lack of stakes when it comes to you kind of, just people live in all of these films and TV series, and we don't have an invested interest in the success or non-success of whatever the storyline is, because essentially we've got nothing to base. We barely ever see a villain actually kill anyone off. MCU are so, and I think this is the problem when you are creating a universe made up of actors who you pay a lot of money for, and B they're always A-star actors, A-list actors, I suppose you say. And the problem with doing that is, as a studio, people will go and see that actor and they'll love that actor. So as an executive, you don't want to get rid of that person because you don't want them to then not come back the next time. So I think actually, a wider comment would be that forces like Marvel need to understand that you need to bring in actors that aren't necessarily known. Figure out another way to make your film or TV series successful, because then that enables you to do what Game of Thrones did. That enables 100%. You to do what The Walking Dead did, which is kill off and not be afraid to kill off some of the big hitters. Otherwise, you're just watching success after success. It's boring. Dull.
And also, like, this is one of those series that you can just take risks. You've got
like, nothing to lose. You haven't got an actor to not pay. Do you know?
Exactly. You've got the whole multiverse to play with, so you can literally kill off whoever you want, and it won't have any implications whatsoever.
For instance, with this, if you've got bless you. If you've got Nick Fury and Bucky Barnes, right, I would have killed off Nick Fury in this episode.
Yep. Yeah.
Because why not? He's barely appears anyway. It's what if, and Nick Fury's death would have absolutely pitted someone like Peggy against Black Widow.
Yeah.
Because Black Widow has known Nick for years and years, and you could create a plot in which Peggy Carter is less aligned, and actually that works out because Captain America was less aligned to S.H.I.E.L.D. That's the whole fucking plot point,
Yep.
So it kind of that kind of stuff really works, I think.
That's really nice. Yeah, I mean 100%. It's maybe, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of a reason why they didn't do that. Because maybe they are just kind of worried about that runtime. Maybe it's because we've only got half an hour. And you are kind of... Because at the end of the episode, it then kind of potentially threads when she kind of drops out into a portal, and then we then see 1602 version of our Marvel characters, which then is an episode, 2 episodes on, I think.
Yeah.
So they kind of tease that, and I don't think actually we get that at all in any What If episode. That's kind of very much the first one where it actually kind of leads and cliffhangers onto something else that's going to be told later on.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, all round a nice episode. Certainly one of the better ones, I think. But yeah, enjoyable. Now, episode 6. What if Kahori reshaped the world? Now, I'm going to instantly put this out there, Matt. One of, if not, my all-time favourite What If episode.
It was... Do you know what it made me want? It made me want This deserves its live-action Disney Plus series or film origin movie. It absolutely deserves it. And I don't know whether it is or whether they just kind of like extend that story in a What If kind of capacity as a like special presentation, which they haven't done for a long time since Werewolf by Night. But mate, yeah, what an episode! And actually, a character to introduce that as a fresh character, and this is a character that is built on the fact that the representation of this character hasn't been shown in Marvel yet. So there is a need for it. There is a need for it. And actually, you don't get those circumstances that much at all in Marvel, because we've got a huge base of these superheroes that Stan Lee has thought of and other people have thought of and built through these comics and graphic novels and all that kind of stuff. There's so much heritage to all these characters that you kind of have to look at the source material. But what a gift, I'm sure, for all the people that created this character, where it was like we get to play, we get to explore something new that's linked to the Tesseract, for instance, that is linked to our universe. Yeah, mate, I mean, brilliant. I mean, what an awesome flipping power as well, like to have powers to have that kind of very much derived from the Tesseract or the Space Stone.
I thought it was brilliant, and I thought because you didn't know anything about the characters, didn't know anything about what was going to happen, it made it a really interesting episode. The characters you aligned with the Sky world. I also thought that actually, surely there's a bit of homage there because there's a lot of blue and there's a lot about the Sky People. Do you know what I'm going to say?
The Sky People.
So something about Sky People, about it's a tribe, they're wearing blue. Avatar.
Oh, yes.
This screams
a
homage to Avatar. Like, there is absolute references there. Like, the fact they're using Sky People, right? I know it's the opposite way around. They become the Sky People in this, but that's exactly what Avatar's about. Right?
This is MCU's version of Avatar.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, and actually it's Disney's version of Avatar. I don't think Disney own Avatar, do they? Or do they?
Good question.
I don't know if they do.
But no, I don't. It's on Disney Plus though, isn't it?
It is. That's why you get confused.
Ours.
Avatar.
Finding out for us groundbreaking information on the podcast.
It does now own it. It didn't once, but it does now own it.
Well, there you go then.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, very much lots and lots of themes around Avatar. Like I say, the opposite way round. So they became the Sky People, and they had to go back home to help their tribe being, lots of that stuff.
Yeah.
But it was really good. I thought it was really in keeping with like you kind of just alluded to. It's very much like Disney films of old. It had that feeling. It's very much got that, just got the vibe. Like even the scene with the cannons, what was it, Spanish guards, whoever they were. They were attacking her by cannons.
I think there were nods to Pocahontas in this.
Oh,
I think there absolutely was. But like, what's exciting about it is that this is a story and a world, and also, and I'm going to talk about this when we get to 1602 as well, episode, is that we're in a decade and a different life version of our Earth at the time that superheroes are living in, and you don't get to see that, and also seeing a character that became a superhero that far back in history to then what would they be like when they're in the present and all that kind of stuff. What would their journeys and their stories be throughout this whole time of period and stuff. So much to play with on it, and I think the fact that they spoke in their native tongue throughout the whole episode, pretty much. Yep. Even when it came to the Spanish Crusaders, they were all speaking in Spanish. It was all of it. The way that they kind of pitched it, the way that they toned that whole episode, it worked. It was fresh. It was new, and it made me want a live action, origin movie. And I really hope down the line we'll get it.
It was brilliant, and because also there are questions about Kahori that we don't have answers to. Because why did Kahori have control over her powers in a way that no other person in the Sky People did?
It was when they were chasing those rhinos, and then the guy was like, "Don't go in front of them," and she got in front of it, and she actually just like killed one over. It's like clearly she's got some special quality.
So and bearing in mind they all got there in the same way. So I'm quite interested in that, and I kind of hope that wasn't just Kahori was a little bit more expert than the rest. Like, I hope there's a genuine reason, and actually maybe that's how we turn this into a CGI thing, is that we see a previous Kahori, like a younger Kahori, where something else happens, maybe a la Kamala Khan kind of vibes. Would be great. I'll be up for that.
That'd be cool. Yeah, 100%. I think what was one of my favourite moments of it was just the visual aspect. The bit where she went down the lake and they had that really long shot of her just kind of falling down, and you can see the Tesseract at the bottom. Again, I thought that was a really nice visual. But yeah, I think we just need to see more of this character now. Now you've introduced it, how else can we build on this character? And I feel like we will see that because it's very much threaded. The character returns in the last episode, so it's about what is the life of Kahori in season 3 or beyond in the MCU.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we get, at the very end, we get Doctor Strange rocks up.
Tired, mate. You're right.
Yeah, I just did a yawn through the Senate. I was like, well, I can't stop now and just yawn openly. Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange rocks up at the end. He's been looking for Kahori for a long time.
Supreme Strange.
Supreme Strange.
Supreme Strange.
Supreme Strange.
This is the Doctor Strange from season 1 that lost everything. This is the Doctor Strange from the episode that I absolutely loved and you hated because you couldn't be bothered to understand it.
Yeah, or it was just weak.
So that's why you yawned over it. Ooh, Supreme Strange.
It's Supreme Strange. It's his bags under his eyes. He looks tired, and it makes me tired. We've had that. We've done that episode. That was a quality episode. One of my favourites. And then we get what I hope or I think is going to be our mutually icky episode. Because this is
just say the title.
What if Hela found the 10 rings?
Oh God!
This was the biggest fucking snorefest I've ever had in my life, Matt.
Honestly,
and do you know what? And sorry, before you say anything. This whole episode, do you know the one thing that I was most upset about?
What?
I was most upset because I know how excited you were because this was Hela and how disappointed I thought you might be.
I was so disappointed. What a flipping opportunity it is to tell to just kind of strengthen the character of Hela, but it just kind of threw... I mean, it just put Hela in a situation where I was like, okay, but why? Like, why? I think we needed to see more of the villainy, not the kind of realizing what she did and her choices, and now she's kind of working for saving universes instead of being against it and turning into the hero. We didn't need that arc. Hela doesn't need that arc. We don't need to see that. We need to see the villain more. And we didn't get enough screen time with Cate Blanchett playing the role, I'd say, anyway. So you could have just kept going with it. You could have just kept going, seeing her on this kind of war path. I think it should have been like when Ultron took all of the Infinity Stones in this first in season 1, an episode like that where she just absolutely destroys everything in her wake. But no, we get this kind of weird, and again, I seriously feel like they've kind of went, well, she was in Lord of the Rings, let's make it look like she turns into Hela the White. It's like, is that like Gandalf the White? What are you doing? Like, what? No, why? All I'm saying is why, and also it was just a massive missed opportunity. And even the lines, the quick, and the fact that it felt like as well that her character was trying to be more Thor-like, because Thor wasn't existing in this universe. Her character went into this kind of quirky, funny lines, quick one-liners, and it just. I mean, I as much as it was Cate Blanchett still doing the voice, wasn't it? It very much sounded like her.
As far as I'm aware, yeah.
And I think she did what she could with it. It just didn't work. It just didn't hit. Didn't resonate.
Yeah, agreed. And also for me, what was the weirdest bit was Wenwu just suddenly joining forces with Hela, causes all of this shit, but goes no, go guys, whoa. All of you are against this person, and for a good reason too. Yeah. But for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Whoa. Let's fight with her. What?
Yes.
What the hell? How'd you? It makes no. This whole. It was just so disappointing. So disappointingly boring. So disappointingly not Hela. so disappointingly like a weird like sequence of events that meant absolutely nothing and contributed to zero. Like it was just really poor.
I think it was placed really poorly as well. Like we had 2 really strong previous episodes. Oh, hello, you right?
Oh, don't mind me.
My ears went bloody mental then.
Apologies, listeners.
We had 2 very strong episodes, and then all of a sudden we've given this complete left field adaptation of a character we know, and then it just isn't relevant or threaded at all related to the previous 2 episodes. Because what happened, I think this is kind of to the detriment of what they decided to do with the series, is that they started threading in some pieces for more story to be told in the further later episodes, but they just didn't do that with this one, so it just felt really, really out of place. And I think it's a shame, because I think if this was a stronger episode, I think this would have been unanimously a better season than the first one. I still think it was better than the first one, but like it could have been a lot stronger.
Agreed, big time agreed. And its placement as well. Right?
Yeah.
This has got nothing to do with what else they're showing in this series.
Yeah.
So, and sorry, did you just say that? And I've just repeated you. Did you just, if you literally just spent you know when your brain does that? You know when you're concentrating on someone else and your brain is hearing what someone's saying and then you just replicate what I said.
I've absolutely done that on this podcast with you before.
I do that so fucking often. Yes, so agreed. Everything while I was trying to fix my camera, and my subconscious brain just took over and listened to what you said, whilst my conscious brain had no idea what was happening. Yes, I agree with what you just said about the place in the episode. I thought that is very incredibly accurate and of a betrayal from you. Yes, it was very weirdly placed. I would have pop this probably before we met Kahori. No, before we get back to Captain Carter.
I would have put it in the first episode. Yeah.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah. Piss ball. Anyway, we'll move on. Yeah. We'll move on to an absolute highlight for many reasons, which is the Avengers in 1602, Money Boy.
Oh my God, I love this episode. I mean, when they announced the second season, we on the podcast listed out, I think on an episode, all of the episodes that they were titling, and this one popped out for me. I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to get like... I think, do you know what? I think it's funny because I think we did mention, oh my God, it's Shakespeare times. That's Shakespeare times, man. And lo and behold, we had, and so Tom Hiddleston, not just our beloved Loki, but also a well-esteemed actor and Shakespearean actor as well. I think he recently did Hamlet or Macbeth or something like that. I can't remember. What he was on stage recently. Was he at the Donmar?
Hamlet, wasn't he?
Was it Hamlet? He just started straight off with this Hamlet speech with the to be or not to be, and I was like, and then they're at the Globe, and I was like, brilliant, my world's colliding. It was so good. It was great. It was great. It was a really good beginning.
It was amazing. I don't know if you remember, but we put on Instagram a poll of all of the new episode titles, and this was the one that. Joe,
oh my God! I was about to say, are you serious, mate?
Winding you up. Anyway, yes, the Shakespeare got me so excited right at the beginning. I loved, like I think you said earlier, in regards to the time period really just took over everything. This isn't particularly a groundbreaking episode. Like nothing substantially happens in it. And you're like, oh my God, this is going to change everything. It's a billion things we've seen before, but just having that makeover of the 1600s just really elevates it, and the attention to detail about different characters. So Happy Hogan, his transformation in this is quite funny.
I took me a while to realise it was Happy until they said Happy. Oh no, they just called him Hogan, didn't they? Senior Hogan or Mr. Hogan or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it had to be Happy? I know we get a Hulk versus Hulk basically at the end of it, which is the whole reason why it was there, which was pretty cool. But I was like, surely there's other characters that might have benefited being in it. Could you have thought of anyone? There was one particular character I would have loved to have seen a 1602 version of.
Ooh.
We hadn't seen him in this season. Peter Parker. Spider-Man.
Yeah, Mr. Spider-Man.
Could you imagine a little Squire version of Peter Parker?
Yeah, no, that would be good.
Little, forsooth, man. Oh, forsooth.
Or he could have been like a jester. Would have been quite
funny. A jester,
funny.
yeah.
Jester
for Thor.
For Thor or for Stark would have been
brilliant.
Stark and him on a little cart, and then Peter Parker's doing all these tricks. And
do you know what? Captain Carter mentions flux capacitor to Tony Stark in the thing, which I thought was great. A lovely nod to Back to the Future, but also it did remind me of Back to the Future 3. But what if they lent into that even more, and Spider-Man and Peter Parker was like the Marty McFly to the Doc Brown of like, do you know what I mean? Like they could have done that.
That would have been genius. Yeah. No, I agree. Actually, yeah, it could have been. Yeah, it could have not been Hogan. But what I did enjoy was Rogers Hood, I think. Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
Rogers was Robin Hood. And then we had Paul Rudd was back in here, so Ant-Man.
Yeah.
A little bit of Ant-Man. Yellow Jackets. We had like, they've got a lot, it's packed full of stuff, this one, isn't it?
It was, do you know what? You can't take this episode seriously at all.
No.
It's fun, it's silly, it's thrown it into a time on this planet that you wouldn't ever see anything like this happen. So, like, how do you tell, the abilities of Ant-Man through tech in 1602, and how do you derive that? And you can't, can you? You can't explain all of that in one line. So they just kind of skipped over it and it's just kind of like, this is it. This is how it will look. And to be honest, from an aesthetic standpoint, I quite liked it. I thought it was quite fun, quite jovial, Well, I don't think we'll see any more of that world going forward.
I think, like the episode a couple of episodes ago where we wanted to see Kahori in live action, I wouldn't be surprised if this was like the actor's favourite to be in live action.
Oh,
I
100%.
can imagine. You can imagine, Tom, and I don't know who else in the cast would have been absolutely up for doing this in real.
1,000%.
Would have loved it. But yeah, no, very good episode. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the two Hulks coming together. Yeah, genius. Love it. And then we have a to be confirmed at the end.
Blooming well do.
We did. Did you just before we go to the next episode, the whole Forerunner thing at the end? Did you actually understand any of that?
Thor, what?
So, Steve Rogers comes at the end and he's the Forerunner. They called him the Forerunner.
Yeah.
So he hit Thanos' stones, didn't he? Mm-hmm. And then it fucked time up. Yeah,
and he went back into this time period, and then all of a sudden, when it gets destroyed, they kind of then all disappear. I don't. Was it just Steve Rogers that went back into that time, or was it the whole Avengers that went back in that time? That's why they're there as well. Because I think that's what that was.
I think but surely it's just him, because that's why he's called the Forerunner. Otherwise, they'd all be that, wouldn't they? They'd all have that blue energy, right?
But they all disappeared as well.
Didn't understand the end.
I've got
to be honest.
What we were seeing though was the evidence is the fact that Captain Carter was in a universe that she shouldn't be in. So there were incursions taking place, and it took me, to be honest, half of the episode to go, the tears, it's incursions. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, so the incursions are taking place because of Captain Carter, and again, it's a nice through line to what's actually happening in the multiversal situation for Doctor Strange and others.
Yes, and the Watcher's not happy that Peggy's staying put. Peggy wants to fix the issues, and the Watcher's like, no, don't Peggy, go back to your own universe, Peggy, go back. And then, so we get that, and then we begin the last episode, which is what if Strange intervened? Supreme Strange intervened.
So we've got now. So this is like the pinnacle episode. So and again, they were leading with this in season 1. We had the whole kind of like with Ultron taking over the universe. So Ultron was Thanos, and then Captain Carter, Guardians of the Universe, blah, 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 all that kind of there. All right. So this.
Yep.
Was not as good as I'd say that the ending episode of season 1. I didn't like it that much.
I would say both endings have been pretty poor.
Yes. Now, why is this, mate? No, but why is that though? Because it shouldn't be. Again, we've got such an open concept, and you're telling these small little threads that are coming through. The Watcher being person that kind of like, I can't intervene, I can only advise, but and when he does intervene, things go to shit, and it has bigger kind of implications. They should have, and this is the thing. We see the tree. What was the tree's name again at the end? The multiversal tree that Loki makes.
Yggdrasil.
Yggdrasil.
Yggdrasil, which also finish your thought, and then we've got to come back to that.
Yeah. But like, I felt like this episode needed to tell a thread that's being or has been told in the MCU, just to kind of join it together. So that's why I was wanting to see a season 2 Loki, or just threads of that being kind of passed into this episode. So whether we see like the spaghettifications of certain characters that Supreme Strange has been holding in, and they've been disappearing through these little portals and bubbles that he's been capturing them, or when they fight they start disappearing, or the TVA intervene. The TVA never turn up at any given point in this bit, and if all these things are happening, incursions, people, Captain Carter's very much intervening in on different branch timelines and stuff. Why isn't the TVA about? What's that? Because obviously we're getting that in Deadpool 3. Why isn't that included in here? So it felt like that needed to be part of this episode, instead of it just being, the ulterior motive of Supreme Strange, who just wants to build his world that he destroyed back, just so he can get, is it Elizabeth back? And
Christine.
That's it. Christine,
Elizabeth. Who the hell was Elizabeth?
I don't know.
Christine, mate. And you're a Stephen Strange fanboy. Can't believe that, mate.
I'm not a fanboy. I just enjoy.
I love Doctor Strange. My favourite. I love magic tricks and such.
Don't be so petty.
I love it when he makes the little portals and we can go through the portal and there's a Spider-Man. There's a Spider-Man through the portal. It's so exciting.
Oh, no, I don't understand it. It's all sciencey to me. Oh, physics. I don't like physics. Never liked it at school, so I'm not going to listen there. Just give me the fights.
God, that was very venomous there, Matt. That was very venomous. Getting personal now. I actually got an A star in physics. No, I didn't.
Well, actually,
actually, I think I created the atomic bomb. So, yes, but I can't remember what you're saying. But yeah.
It needed TVA or Loki or something else, basically. Yeah.
This all built up to like a huge climax, and then all we end up with is one fight. It's just a single fight between Kahori, Peggy, and Kahori randomly there, because actually it sped through way too quickly with Kahori. I wanted we need another 5 chapters before she gets involved in this bollocks.
Yeah.
And then you got Peggy and Strange, and it's just like, okay, Strange has evolved. And now he's dead. And now he's back to life again. Oh, yeah, he's dead. Oh, and then he sacrifices himself. Oh, okay. It was really badly handled. It just didn't need to be here. I'd rather they bolted it on the previous episode and called it a day. Like, I didn't need a whole episode of that. Unless, like you say, Matt, the reason they were doing that was to intervene it with current MCU. Now, the only thing I can think of is that, so I'm going to go backwards to go forwards. So episode 1, not episode 1, but episode 5, we go back to New York again. And I remember, and I wrote it down, like, I was getting sick to death of why do we keep going back to New York, right? And then I was like, we never took, we don't go to Kang or post Endgame or any of that stuff, right? We was just totally forgotten about any Phase 4 stuff. But then at the very end of this series, very end of the last episode, we then see the tree of Yggdrasil, I believe. Where and that combines us with Loki, TVA, everything that's going on. Now, I have a theory. Was this last episode supposed to have an alternative ending, or in bed with a Loki? However, they realised that What If was quite successful, so they are going to make another series which brings in the kind of Kang generation, brings in Captain Marvel, like looks at Avengers as of Phase 4, and therefore they didn't want the alternative ending, which would have actually just brought it to a natural close.
Well, what they have done with this series, at the end of this season, they did level this up with Loki, with everything else that's currently being told in the story in the MCU. Yep. So it's not like it's kind of got more story to tell in season 3. It is caught up in real time to what's going to go forward. So with anything else, What If will have to follow and continue that path going forward. So I'd say that's clear enough. But it is kind of, what do they do? Because then it doesn't become a What If. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it can be What If, though, because we don't know who is controlling the Tree of Yggdrasil. It doesn't have to be Loki, Matt.
So you think that could be somebody else?
Yeah, 100%. It's going to be someone else. But all I'm saying is that this series is very much using stories and characters that we know of from Phase 1, 2, and maybe 3, right? We don't. Yes, we get I suppose we get the 10 rings for Shang-Chi, but we don't really meet a lot of Phase 4 characters or a lot of late Phase 3 characters, right? We don't have She-Hulk, probably for obvious reasons. We don't have Abomination. There's lots of new, other ones that could come up.
So that's cool. So that you're suggesting that the person that is in that throne in the Tree of Life isn't a Loki, or it could be a Loki, it could be a variant Loki, or it could be a completely different character. Who do you think it is?
I'm going to say,
could be.
I think it might be, get her name right, Ravonna.
Ravonna? You mean Renslayer?
That's the one I mean.
Yeah. That's her name. That's her name.
Oh, it is Ravonna.
Ravonna,
Yeah. Renslayer. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Because it works, because so many... We didn't get like an awful lot of her in second series of Loki. And there are multiple different paths that Ravonna could have gone into, which would have meant that character had a far bigger say to the overall arc of TVA.
Yeah.
So she would be a perfect character to bring in series 3, because because also her actions. So say she killed Kang and overlorded, with Miss Minutes, I would say that you could argue she could be a lot more reckless for the TVA and therefore have far bigger ramifications for the wider universe.
I love that. Do you know who I wish it could be? Agent Coulson. When's the last time we said that name? No one talks about Agent Coulson anymore. Never forgotten, but nobody talks about him. I'm just going to leave that there.
They have announced a possible episode. Have you heard about this? They've announced the title already for a possible series 3.
Have they?
Yeah.
Already?
It's kind of rumored already. It's rumored out there, but Obadiah as Thanos. That's the episode title. That's it.
Stop
Obadiah
it.
of Thanos. I can't wait. I'm honestly
Absolute BS.
First series, Guardians of the Multiverse. Second series, Don't Be a Hero. Third series, Obadiah's being confirmed as Thanos.
Oh my god! Do you know what? I'm gonna manifest you and I getting into the MCU at some point. I'm gonna keep talking about it. Let's make it happen. How can we get in? How can we do this?
I don't know. Maybe Spider-Man 88. We can get in. I don't know.
Spider-Man 88.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
I reckon that's going to be a shit hot film.
Do you know what? I'd take Morbius too.
Oh, no, I'd like to be seen. I'd like to be watched. Do you know what? I'd go for She-Hulk series 2 over fucking Mobius 2, mate.
Right. Well, okay. I think. What's your thoughts, mate? Give me a crisp rating. Overall crisp rating. What if season 2? Go.
Ooh, what if season 2? I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it a sweet popcorn, which is my favourite of the two, but the devils that be have popped in about a quarter bag of salted popcorn without you being aware.
Wow. Okay.
So you've gone, oh, this is, you are treating me well, you're treating me nicely, and boom, there goes the salt in your face.
Okay. We're going popcorn, are we?
We are going, yeah, crisp. Is that a crisp?
I mean, you're just completely thrown the whole rule book there.
You can count popcorn as a crisp, can't you?
I suppose so. You yeah. I'd say you're borderline okay.
It's a corn, isn't it? I suppose, but
it's like that kind of like, is really a tomato a fruit? I mean, is it? It's not, is it? Like, do you know what I mean?
Do you know? So I put this on Google, and I've just seen the most unbelievable headline from The Guardian I've ever seen, mate. Right?
Go on.
The title of this article is popcorn really a healthy alternative to crisps? Who has ever said that? Who in any decade ever would think that popcorn might even
Also, who
remotely
cares?
be healthier than all right, Matt. Okay, I'm just bringing something to the table, Matt, but see me now, mate.
I mean, I care that you're talking about. I'm just saying generally, right? Popcorn is popcorn.
Okay, so if it was a crisp, just any like salt and vinegar crisps, and there's some cheese and onion in there. All right,
I've got
Matt,
I've got
a bee in your fucking bonnet.
I absolutely love that we've stuck with these ratings as well. Well, we take them seriously. In all fairness, I'm going to give them. Okay, you threw the rule book, so I'm going to throw the rule book. I'm going to say this is a giant bag of Smoky Grey's snacks.
Smoky Grey snacks.
Yes, you get like peas and like corn and snap peas and stuff that then they're like seasoned with like barbecue like seasoning and stuff. It's really nice. It's quite nourish, but they're like like healthy snacks in quotation marks.
That sounds like Satan has shat in a bag and called it a
I
snack.
want to see you eat some of that. Do you know what? I'm gonna take you out to a restaurant this next week. All right, when we go to MCM, I'm gonna take you to a restaurant, and you're gonna go, "What is this BS?" And I'm gonna be like, "I love it," and you're gonna be like, "Oh no, I hate it." Just be aware, it's vegetarian and vegan place, mate.
That's all right. I'm not going to knock a vegetarian plate, but if they're serving that up on a platter, then I'm 1 star in that shit. Yeah, all right, I can't wait. I'm well excited. Now, to be fair, Matt, in all fairness, we always go to a meat place. So you take me to a vegetarian place, and you know me. We got a lovely vegetarian place in
Actually,
and we go to that. I've just name dropped that, but in Essex, wherever we live, and it's lovely.
I wonder if you bleeped that out or not. Who knows? We'll find out later.
I'll forget or can't be bothered by the time we're there.
We certainly don't live there. Okay. My dear Forrest, we've got a big week ahead of us. So, yeah, dear listener, we are at MCM Comic Con Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you're there, please let us know. Give us a message on all of our social network streams, Instagram, TikTok. Give us an email if you want to. Don't be here podcast@gmail.com. Give us your thoughts on What If Season 2 as well. Be really interested to see what you think about the season. It just happened. It really didn't have much kind of like shout about it. There was lots of things going around MCU around at the time as well, with Loki Series 2 coming out and that kind of stuff. So give us your thoughts. I am now very excited for us to take that pause button on the MCU train before we get to Echo, because that will be the final thing that we do and be officially caught up with the MCU, which is a huge, huge deal to us. But we want and we've got to start talking about The Boys on Amazon Prime.
We're going to see you next week for what is quite a monumental podcast, Matt. This is the first time we're not doing wildcards. We are out of the MCU to a large degree. A little bit of Echo, but yeah, we're out, mate. We are
free of the shackles.
We are free of the shackles. God
Kevin
knows
Feige,
what's going to happen.
You can now unlock our chains, my friend.
Yeah. And you can pay us for all the bloody promotion we've done for you for 2 years, Sonny Jim.
Jesus Christ, not a penny. Not a bloody penny.
Not a pence. But we will, we'll see you. It's an exciting times ahead. We'll see you for The Boys, which means that me and Matt's going to have to sit with me and watch a load of episodes this weekend for me to even have a chance of watching the whole of the first series. But let's see what happens. We'll see you next week.
Bye now.